Every day you wonder if today's the day you will die. Most days you are alone with your thoughts in an empty cell, thinking, what could I be? Guards come for you. They lead you to a room full of your loved ones crying. Today is the day you will die. You eat one final meal. It's your favorite meal from childhood. You are led to a room with an innocent-looking man, but you know the truth. They have never been medically trained, yet they will be the ones who will end your life. You are strapped down. A drug is pushed into your system. Within seconds, you cannot move. You cannot speak. You cannot scream. All you can do is wait for the second drug that will stop your heart. You start to feel bad. You start to fall asleep. This is the end. For over 8,000 Americans, this has been a sad reality. The death penalty is a barbaric practice that must be outlawed. I will be discussing the morality of taking another person's life, because at the end of the day, that is what the death penalty is. I will explore just how many innocent people are executed per year who are innocent. They never committed the crime in the first place. And finally, I will dissect just how much of a financial burden the death penalty is. I will inform you of all these things, and maybe you will understand why the death penalty is an absolute evil. The execution of inmates is unacceptable. David Schwanten, PhD scientist and director of ethical rights, believes that as we progress as a society, it is inhumane to continue to sentence human beings to death. It just doesn't make sense. Death row inmates are forced into isolated cells with the knowledge that any day could be their last. People have been known to go insane. It's considered prolonged torture by many activists. As Americans, we need to be better. We need to set the example. And he is not alone in his opinion. According to the NAACP Death Penalty Fact Sheet, they conducted a survey of the American population and found that 1/3 of the entire American population believe the death penalty needs to be outlawed. David Schwanten is not the only expert who feels this way. PhD John Donahue III, professor of law at Stanford University, published research in The Conversation, showing that the death penalty does not even affect murder rates. It is not an effective deterrent. All it does is disproportionately affect minorities from poor economic backgrounds. We would all like to believe that the jury got it right. According to the Death Penalty Information Center, which is government-backed, there have been 170 innocent people who have died at the hands of the government, who were innocent, since 1973. We would like to believe those happened before we had access to DNA testing. However, you would be mistaken. As recently as 2010, an innocent man was convicted of murder and was killed by lethal injection, only to be cleared a few years later. Even one man is one too many. The act of executing a single man or woman costs the government an average of an extra $1 million per inmate to execute, according to PhD Donahue III, a professor at law at Stanford University. This is ridiculous. My tax dollars go towards killing a possibly innocent man. I would prefer it if my hard-earned tax dollars went towards something that did good in our society, Something such as education, schools, hospitals. All of these I feel like would be a better use of our resources than killing a single man. This evening, I have informed you why the death penalty must be abolished. It is a barbaric practice that must be taken away. Killing people, even guilty people, is morally unacceptable. Experts such as PhD Swanton and Professor Donahue III, along with 1/3 of my fellow Americans, believe that it is morally unacceptable. As shown by the Death Penalty Information Center, innocent people lose their lives every year to the death penalty. Even one person's life is not worth it. The death penalty is also a waste of American taxpayers' money. Professor Donahue III estimates it costs the government an extra $1 million in taxpayer money to execute each inmate. That is where my tax money ends up going. That's where your tax money ends up going. Instead of going to hospitals where we can save hundreds of lives, it goes towards a single man and his death. I hope with this information, you now understand why we must campaign to our local and state officials to get rid of the death penalty. We cannot go on like this. It's barbaric. I will now leave you with some simple advice that may help you out. Pray that you are not in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong appearance, or else you may be the state's next casualty. Thank you.